Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Good evening.
Let's get it started in here. Welcome home. You're listening to the best non-professional advice show on the planet, on your home for overnight low-back session. This is the Stock, Jock, and Roll Show on daytradingradio.com.
Yeah.
Money never sleeps, pal.
Trading stocks, futures, options on futures, and retail off-exchange foreign currency transactions involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. You may lose all or more of your initial investment. Opinions, market data, and recommendations are subject to change at any time.
And good evening, everybody.
You
It
shorted,
is.
that's why. You don't like it.
Oh, that was our show from last week. So, it is Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the Stock, Jock, and Roll Show. Good evening, everybody. Racer X, Sunny in the room this evening. Good evening. Jeff, my partner's ready to roll, so let's go ahead and dial him on up. Send the old invite here. Invite is sent. Looks like Google made a little change to their invite. So Jeff will be joining us shortly. What a day in the markets. What a great day in the markets. Nice little reversal today. By all means, not out of the woods, but we will be talking about that. Looks like Jeff's coming in. I see your picture, Jeff.
All right, there we go. How's
There
that?
it is. Bing. Oh my goodness, you got your Cardinal uniform on.
That's right. I told you I have my game face on tonight.
You do have your game face on, the eyes and everything.
Doug, this is a byproduct of moving. Crap.
I'm sure those Atlanta folks will love seeing you run around in your Cardinal jersey.
Hey, I did it when the Cardinals were playing the Rangers, and I was working for Sabre.
Oh yeah, I wore my Cardinals jersey down here too. I made a few enemies during that World Series, so I know what you're going through.
Hey, what happened to the ball game?
Atlanta's going to be in the Braves. They're going to be in the playoffs, aren't they? Or did they not make it?
Wait, next year? Are you talking about next year?
I guess not this year, huh? They were in the running for a while. I remember them talking about Atlanta, the Braves, and I guess they fell off. But who else is that? I don't even know who's leading the East.
It is who is leading the East?
Who is the Cardinals' likely opponent? Standing.
It's the Nationals,
Well,
right?
Well, isn't DC happy between them and Baltimore? Standings. I knew Atlanta was in there for a while, but apparently they've fallen from grace. They're tied with the Mets. Yep, it's Washington Nationals, Pittsburgh Pirates, Dodgers, St. Louis, and probably one other wild card somewhere in there. Something like that.
Yeah, the Giants I thought were in the wild card hunt.
Let's see if I go to wild card standings. Looks like, I don't know, is it the top two teams get in?
Yeah.
All right, so Pittsburgh has it at the moment, and San Francisco is probably going to get the other one in. So, anyway, I got my Rams jersey on.
I see that.
And I don't know if you can see in the background, I've got a certain number hanging back here I'm sure you're familiar with.
I see that. I like that.
Yeah, so what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to wear the Rams jersey for the first half of this night, because you know how the Rams were kicking the Cowboys' tail the first half. And then the second half, I'm going to flip shirts, put the Cowboys on, watch the Cowboys take over the show and close it out with a win, because that's what they did to the Rams. So by the end of the evening, I'll be wearing your favorite team's jersey. And that doesn't happen too often. I think Jeff froze. He's got his game face on, and it froze. Hey, Sonny. Sonny's going to stay awake as long as she can.
Oh, there we go.
There, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just got a connection lost notification. My network connection is experiencing difficulties. I'm not sure why that would be.
Well, hopefully,
but I'm still here.
Hopefully it stays in tonight. So I was saying, when you froze up there for a moment there, I'll finish the second half wearing the Cowboys jersey in your honor. So since that's your team and they came back and won, I'll throw on the Cowboy jersey.
Perfect.
So
yeah, I've been a little busy with some activities during the day, so I've been trying to keep up with everything.
Well, we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. We're going to take a review of the markets, and we'll probably take a look at some stocks or any stock chart requests that we get in the room. We're going to talk a little bit about trend following, and we're going to play the dice game. So watch out for the dice game. And then we're going to play an interview recorded by Howard Linzen and Baji Bahat, something like that, talking about the Robinhood $0 commission site.
Stupid thing.
Because I am very close to getting into the Robinhood brokerage. When I checked this morning, I only had 667 people ahead of me, and so I'm very close. Last night I saw this little interview. I tweeted to Howard Linzen, hey, maybe you can get me over the hump. He tweeted me back, send me an email, so I did that, and so hopefully that email will get me over the hump in the next couple weeks, or sooner, for that matter. After that, got Keep It Simple trading system. I'm going to show you another very simple trading system that you could actually potentially use, and talk about principles for trading a smaller account. And if we have time in the evening, we'll go over The Doctor Is in the House and look at a couple articles from Brett Steenbarger over the last week, because he's had some very good articles. Again, Brett Steenbarger, if you don't read his blog at Traders Feed, Let me actually look it up before I say it wrong here. Traderfeed.blogspot.com. Read it every day. That's all I can say. Read it every day. Traderfeed.blogspot.com. I sense you're having some technical difficulties back there.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull a baseball game up again without. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
On MLB?
Yes. All right, there we go. So I've got it up. I've got it muted, but I can at least see it. So
There you go. What's on ESPN tonight? Is it something on ESPN or MLB?
no, this one's on MLB TV.
Oh, okay.
The ESPN game, I think, might be the Braves and the the Braves and the Pirates.
Okay. When is Jeter's last game? Is that tomorrow night? There's something. Jeter's last game. When's his last home game? I think I heard tomorrow night. I actually may tune in to watch that game.
Well, I can guarantee you that's probably going to be on every screen in the planet. They've probably got it scheduled to be on CNN and in MSNBC. I'm sure they'll be playing it on that Times Square screen. And
you're not lending to any East Coast bias there, are you?
Well, yeah, no, not at all.
You're on the East Coast now, so.
Not really on the East Coast, but I'm in the Eastern time zone.
You are.
That is a. I actually switched because my laptop's behind me now. I want to be able to see the chat room, so I'm switching over here.
Look at this. Sunny is all over it. She says the forecast for tomorrow night's Yankee game is rain. Boy, I tell you what, if I could get tickets to that game tomorrow night, I would fly up there. If anybody in New York has an extra ticket, let me know. I'll be on a plane tomorrow to that game. I would like to see that game. I did get to see Roger Clemens' 300th win at Yankee Stadium, and that's a highlight of my life I'll always remember. Even though it didn't quite turn out so well for him a few years later. But
I think they're going to rename ESPN JSPN.
That's a good one. What a day that we had in the market today, Jeff. I don't know how much you got to pay attention today, but we had some heavy selling yesterday and some down, basically 3 down days in a row. And I had put in our bonds room. I don't remember what time it was, somewhere like around 10 o'clock or so, that the New York, the NYMO, the McClellan oscillator, was definitely in very, very oversold territory. Matter of fact, let me throw it up here on the screen. And when this is an oversold territory, you never really want to go in shorting, especially in this market where shorts have, not worked at all. Let me throw in the McClellan. Where you at? There it is. All right, so this is the TC 2000 version of the McClellan oscillator. So the numbers are a little different than what you see if you look at stock charts or an actual McClellan oscillator. But this minus 200 level and the plus 200 level is the severely over bought and oversold areas. So back in August, we had hit a severely oversold level. And yesterday we came in the severely oversold level and pushed down through it. And anytime you're in this oscillator, and there were several oscillators that were kind of an oversold mode, that you want to pay attention and look for a bounce. It doesn't mean it's necessarily a reversal that we're going to go to new highs or anything, but you want to be just looking and be aware and wait for that reversal. And today we got that reversal signal, sort of that red dog reversal, Jeff, that we've talked about for the last year.
Right.
And so let me pull the SPX back up. So this is a TC2000. I like to thank TC2000. They're our preferred software for tracking stock charts, and they're allowing us to use this beta version up here, beta 12.4 from TC2000. So I'd like to give them a shout out. We'll bring some more charts up later. In the meantime, this is the ES chart for pretty much today's session, trading now at 90.50, and this is a NinjaTrader chart, who is also a partner of ours, and I want to give them a shout out. I could not do my trading without NinjaTrader. That is for certain.
They've got great stuff. So this is, what time frame are you on here?
I'm looking at I'm looking at a 3-minute chart of today's session here, and so I put out in the bond room. So if anyone is new and they've never come into the All Things Bonds room, there's a handful of us in there each day trading the bonds, and we try to keep all our content to the bonds, but we do watch the equity market because certain sell-offs in the equity market can cause some risk being taken off the table and put into bonds, and vice versa. At times you'll get risk taking out of the bonds and moved back into to the indexes. And the last couple of days we kind of see that happen a little bit, where they were correlated in the sense that they've been sort of correlated, that they've been moving together, and they've been kind of moving together on this downtrend. But the last couple of days, when that heavy selling hit yesterday, you could see it correlated at the bond market moving up. So I had said in the room today about 10 o'clock, I was looking for, when I came in, higher move in the bonds. I think a few people may have been looking for a lower move in the ES potentially. And well, I said, don't, this is, no one wants to be shorting this market right here now because of these oscillators being oversold. So if we get a balance in the ES, we probably won't see that continuation in the bonds, and that's also exactly what happened in the bonds. The bonds, money came out of the bonds, and bonds rolled over, and I had in the bond room, if it loses 137, jump on it for a short, and it turned out to be a very good short. And this morning in the ES, in the room, there was a couple good trades in there that I had mentioned that I was looking at. The first one being wage. Let me throw a wage up in here. Said I was looking all over for this. I actually posted yummy, I think, on my link. Wage is looking yummy here, and Wage had just a nice breakout today, and I posted several 2 scales and then a exit everything before the end of the day on this Wage trade. So I don't know if anybody was following the room, but you can see if you go into the logs in the chat room, you'll see the post I have in there on the post of this Wage. And at the same time, I was in ES, and I was looking for 89 in the ES. Let me get back out of here. And RPM was doing lunch, and RPM was asking me some questions about our guest last week, and wondering. Oh, right. And he was wondering what some of their names and stuff were. I'm like RPM, hold on, man. I'm not trying not to talk to you right now, but I've got like 3 trades going. I've got to stay focused on this. So apologize to RPM that I didn't answer his question about the guest last week. So I may talk to them later, or may talk about the guest a little bit later on here. But here's the ES chart right here, and after the open we had this push down, which brought in a lot of fear, and this is where it was just too much. And this is where you start looking for reversal, especially after 3 days down, after the oscillators being oversold. You start looking for it, and all of a sudden you started seeing this pop. If you had Algo X on, Algo X, which is a feature on the day trading radio site, you can see that Algo X buying creeped up above much higher than the selling, and the selling went to 0 and buying just took off, and you can actually see it in the Algo X. And sure enough, we had a nice ATR break right here at 10 o'clock. I think this is 10:06 Central Time. And this is one area where you start looking for a long. We had this run up right here. And let me get my trend line. Because there were several times that you could have even gotten in today on this. So after the run up, we had this little pullback. And this was the break of the ATR. And so you could have had a long entry right in this area to get long. And we ramped right up and we consolidated for about an hour after that. And this is when I was in the chat room saying, I'm looking for 89. 89 is where I'm really, really looking for. We consolidated down, broke out again about 12:36 this afternoon, ran back up and didn't quite get to it. I think in the chat room I said I need one more push to get us to 89. That was the target I was looking for. And sure enough, we had another little consolidation, popped through there, got that 89.75. This is where I got out right here. It continued a little bit higher. I think there's a few people looking for 92, and we did get up in the 92, and then just kind of closed up pretty much on the high. So an excellent reversal day. There were several good entry points to get in here, and if you were able to get in off of this reversal, the ATR trailing stop could have kept you in pretty much all day long. So it was a nice reversal day today in the ES.
Yeah, you wouldn't have done too bad if you'd have let that thing run once it broke the ATR.
Yeah, and you know when this breaks the ATR, this ATR trailing stop, which does the calculation for you, you know when this breaks the ATR, when this ATR breaks, wherever it breaks, if it broke up here at 1981, this means that trend is over. The trend exhausted. It doesn't mean it can't start another trend, but this trend is over. And this wound up, staying in the trend pretty much all day. If I actually go over to a 3-minute ZB chart, which is where I was looking for the breakdown, let's see what I don't trade on the 3-minute, but I bet you will see a similar. I just type ZB. Let me just go to ZB. All right, let me back this out. So I was looking for a break of this 07. Right here is where I was in the bond room saying break of this 07 and gets us down. We actually broke the ATR about 1027, and we kind of just rummaged around here. But when this 07 broke, which is almost correlates exactly to this time that we broke in the ES higher after that first run up, then the bonds took a little tank. So
Right, probably a money shift there. But what time did the Philadelphia Fed chair spoke today too, right? Wasn't she talking about interest rates?
There were,
how the time correlates to that breakdown there.
There were a couple of Feds, but they didn't do much in the bonds today. What did help was about the time we got that really ramp up was right after, I think it was the home sales came out, and the home sales was very good. This was the new home sales report. It was much higher than expected, and I think, if I recall, it was the highest level since May of 2008. So that was also a little significant news. We were oversold, oscillators oversold, got a reversal, got good news at 10 o'clock on the new home sales, and that added fuel to the fire. Those people that were getting in short were now trying to cover those shorts, and of course it's been a buy the dip mode now.
Right.
We'll look at the charts right now. We're in no means out of the woods of this dip that we've had, but
so you think there was a money shift from bonds to equities
today? Yeah, yesterday and today you definitely could see that correlation. Bonds actually got a bounce a few days ago just from being oversold since 9/1. On September 1, we had a island top reversal in. Let me pull up that chart. TLT.
Bonds are going to be interesting to see as because even with the, I think even with the comments that have come out as far as interest rates and whatnot, I'll be curious to see how that works and how that plays itself out.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's expecting some higher interest rates, which is what caused this initial island gap back here in 9.1, and then we had another one back in 9.11, which that gap we filled yesterday.
Right.
On. But yeah, I've heard some things talking about maybe TLT will kind of into the rest of this year. So the next 3 or 4 months sort of kind of be a little range bound. And, will this gap up here close from September 1st? I wouldn't want to think so. But we'll see what happens. I do think it's possible that we go a little higher, but I think a lot of people are expecting TLT to be range bound in the next 3 or 4 months, and then in maybe in 2015 is when you start seeing the interest rates truly get closer to the Fed raising them, and seeing a little downside in this in the bonds. But
I'm going to be curious, and you might know this better, and somebody else out there may know this better too. But given the fact that I've been out of pocket a bit, not been able to follow it, what have they said is the kind of the approach? I mean, are they going to? I know they're going to scale that to an extent, but I got to take these damn things off.
Game face.
Yeah, they were, gimmicky novelty item. So, what is the speculation, or what is the talk as far as how they're going to do this potentially, assuming it happens, and I think that we all think it will, the interest rate thing? Are they going to gradually scale that up?
I'm not.
Is there a target rate that they've got?
Well, I'm not smart enough to really track it that closely. They have said that they do expect a change in the interest rates to rise in 2015. Of course, with the QE supposedly winding down, next month is, I believe, the last October when the Fed meets is the last POMO. And they are supposed to give some kind of wind down information. I think a lot of people are expecting maybe October we get some hint of closer to a time frame. I think right now they're pretty certain at 2015 we'll see it. But I don't know if that, if they think it'll be like first quarter, summer, that.
But has there been any hint at like what the level is going to,
Oh no! I think
basically it's zero now. What
basically,
yeah.
I couldn't.
1.25 or something. Obviously you're not going to shove them up to 5% right off the bat. But
no idea. Given that new home sales best reading since May of 2008, you would think that they're going to be more likely to push up that interest rate because homes are selling, and so far it's working. I know one of the problems there, a lot of the fear is once they start to inch up those interest rates, that sort of curbs the buying power of like new homes and starts to scare the economy a little bit. But given today's news in the homes, I would suspect that they will be raising these rates in 2015, and so we'll see the bond market how that does, but I think you will be looking at a pretty good short in the bonds if you didn't get short on 9/1 after that island top reversal. Depends on your time frame and your horizon.
Right, exactly. This stuff always fascinates me though. Whenever we do a show, as we talk about this stuff, there are so many moving parts out there that are so intertwined together. And you pull one lever, and it switches another lever, and or if you pull a string, and just the impact that it has, I guess, on everything else. And I think a lot of people out there don't. I mean, not to say that folks here don't, because I think everybody here is pretty well versed in the financial markets. But pulling one lever impacts like 100 other things, like just raising interest rates. You know, if the Fed does that, like, how widespread is that impact?
Well, the good thing is with this interest rate and the QE easing, we've seen the dollar, been on a tear for the last couple of months, and that's helped the gasoline prices come way down. So in a sense, that's been a good side of it. The commodity indexes have been beaten up, and I mean, I think I paid $2.99 for gas here in Texas, and it's been a while since I've seen $2.99 at Costco.
You can just shut up.
Well, it's because we got oil, like in
I paid like
refineries in our backyard. It keeps it.
I think
the pipeline, I think, goes right down the street to Costco. Hey, I see Hoover's in the chat room. Orlandi, good evening. Is that RPM in there? RPM in there too? Hey,
I think you can actually buy a house in Texas that's got a refinery in the backyard.
Yeah. Hey, RPM, sorry for kind of cutting you off at lunch today. I was in like 4 trades, and they were all kind of firing at the same time, so it kind of kept me a little busy. But last week's guest are friends of Jeff and I, and 2 of the traders, Darren and Josh, are located here in Dallas, Texas, friends of mine, and Roxanne is a friend. She lives out in LA. And then guests joined us too. So that was the that's who the guests were. They were not members of the day trading radio site. Although Josh has been a member before. He actually got started. Hey, Steph. Good evening. Steph 139. He's always in the bonds room with us on all things bonds. But Josh, he got his start trading by listening to DTR, just like I did, 5-6 years ago. So a lot of people, a lot of beginning traders get their start at DTRS here, and it's a great way to learn, and it's a great community. DTR publishes a watch list every week that makes it much easier for him doing the homework for you, giving you some levels and thoughts that you can trade, and he's got a great swing trading system that he tends to follow in his stochastics and his downward wedges that he likes.
It really is great play. Johnny does so much stuff behind the scenes that I don't think is immediately evident. And then RPM does, he provides great insight doing the lunchy stuff, the Friday stuff, whenever he does a show and gives Johnny a break, does, all the IT stuff he does. It's great. It's a great community here.
Yeah, and I really like to see his Tech Talk Live show come back, because I've got a few questions for him myself. I actually need to rebuild one of my trading PCs. It's given me a little problems, and I got kind of some questions for him of his potential recommendation with it.
Well, all you need to fix it is a hammer.
That's a couple times what I'm about to do to it. It's my original trading PC. I built it 5 years ago, and I've upgraded several components in it since that time, but I think it's time to start from scratch and pull some of these new components out of it that I put in it and start another new system. So if he has a show, I will be all over that show.
Oh yeah. Just to throw that out for anybody out there, when RPM puts a Tech Talk show on, that's like must-see TV. For anybody out there. Keep in contact and make sure because that's great stuff. Absolutely, it's great stuff. We may have to build one together, Charlie. I may be in the market for building one myself here shortly. So,
Well, awesome. Well, and I think we talked about since you moved down to Atlanta, I need to probably come down there visit, and we need to do a show live from Atlanta. And we kind of looked at the calendar, like maybe October 29th we can do a Stock Jock and Halloween show from Atlanta.
I'm all over that.
You know,
That'd be awesome.
We'll build a spooky castle and broadcast live from it.
Maybe I'll get one of those dry ice machines. We can get a little smoke going and
get some Halloween guests to show up in some outfits. That'll bring out the crowd.
Yeah, it might scare them away.
True. So I'm going back here to look at the SPY chart. This is the SPY daily chart right here, and we've had time after time these reversals being bought up. Long-term trend lines are still very much intact. Looking at this, today's reversal pretty much off the 50-day as well, with it being oversold. And we closed on the SPY back above the 50-day. Well, we never lost the 50-day, but we kind of came below it, freaked a few people out, closed back above it. But we're still not back above the 8 and 21 day, which is still a key level. So, there's some people that are sort of looking. Let me go to a 4-hour chart, which kind of breaks this down maybe a little.
Do you have
different.
Do you have the stocks on that? The stochastics?
No. We did get, looks like I'm looking at this is a 4-hour. We did get a 4-hour stochastic crossover today, but there are a few people thinking of a possible scenario if we have more downside here. Maybe we need a test down here of this 200 or this trend line again. So one of the scenarios, it looks like potentially the SPY could be, and I'm just saying could be, building like a head and shoulders type of environment here. So maybe it comes up.
I was kind of thinking that too.
Maybe it comes up. Let me get rid of this trend line right here, and let's get rid of this support line and get rid of it now. So this is sort of like, some people might think you could get a little bounce back up, then kind of roll over and eventually break down. So it's kind of a head and shoulders look at the moment, but this is just trying to set a hypothesis of what could happen. Right now, you don't want to go with that hypothesis yet because there has been no evidence of it. It's only been inverse head and shoulders breaking out, which this also could somewhat do here. Could develop into another one of these inverse head and shoulders and break and go higher into new highs. So it's basically, we haven't improved enough to say we're getting back to new highs, but today certainly helped.
Boy, it looks like that might. I mean, that's got a pretty good upward trend to it, though, even given the pretty big dip there.
Oh yeah, for IRA, holders, long-term holders, there's been nothing scary about this at all. If here's the weekly chart, and if the 40-week ever gets violated on this weekly chart, and this is the 40-week right here, which goes back to that reversal back in November of 2012, where we came below it, got back above it, and we've been riding above the 40-week moving average. We get below the 40-week again for long-term holders. That's an area to be concerned, because below that 40-day is down here around 189, which is probably right around the 200-day. So there's good support. You got the 40-day moving average, and you got the 200 down here. So if we do get a move down toward 190 or 180 or so, in my mind, it's still just another buying opportunity. I'd love to see it test back lower and set up a whole lot of stocks again.
Right.
But for the moment, it's still by the dip. But if we lose to today's low at some point, then you could say we're probably going to test a little lower. The IWM, which has been the Russell 2000, which has been the worst of the bunch, is just in all kinds of mess. It's kind of got the golden cross here at the 50 crossing down below the 200. Had the breakdown 2 days ago. I mean, this doesn't scream buy at all. The IWM does not scream buy, which is what's had a lot of people concerned about the rest of the market. So the IWM is, still not.
Yeah.
Still.
I don't think I'd touch that.
Yeah, IWM has kind of let it. It needs to base out for a few months, and it needs to get healthy and recover itself, which, is one of the reasons why we've kind of struggled up here at this. We make a new high and we pull back. We make a little new high and pull back, but we haven't really broke away from our summer range that we've had, and IWM is, kind of held us back in there. Them damn little Russell 2000 stocks, but everybody loves to trade those little guys.
That looks like a clown juggling.
Yeah. So actually, if you look at this could look like one big old head and shoulder right here.
Right.
With this being the neckline, and the neckline getting really close to breaking too. So, lot of ways you can play it. The advanced decline line. This is the one that we talked about last week on the show. This is what had me a little concerned when I was talking about it last week, that we need to see some improvement. It's the cumulative 4-week new high low. And when I said, when back here we got it and held the 8-day, had a nice run up, but back here in September 12th, we lost the 8-day, and we've had some cross it down through the 50. So we got, so the advanced, the cumulative 4-week new high lows has needs some improvements too. So there's been a lot of stocks that have been hit hard in this downturn. A lot of momentum stocks been hit hard. But there's still some stocks, that have holding up well. Hey, did you know today we also had the second largest IPO of the year?
The second largest. Who came out today? I know Alibaba and the 40 Thieves came out yesterday.
Yeah, and they finally had a pretty good day today. But no, the second largest IPO came out today. We actually had two IPOs today. Cyber, CYBR, and CFG. Citizens Financial Group. I don't really know too much about them. I think I've heard about them.
I don't know who they are either.
But
Let's see.
Citizens Financial Group, they came out today. It's the second largest IPO of the year. Obviously, with all the downtrend in the last 3 days, the Alibaba talk and everything else going on, not many people, paid attention to it. It actually, for the IPO, second IPO, I think it was supposed to end up having its offer up much higher than this $22-23 that it came out with. Ran up to 23. I think at some point I was reading that this is a little bit of a disappointing IPO for it. But the other one today was CyberArk Software. It came out and had a very nice run today. This was definitely the IPO of choice right there. That thing came out and held on a 5-minute. It held this 20 moving average all the way up. Cyber was turned out to be a pretty sweet one. And then Alibaba today also got a little bit of a run after let me move in here after a little bit of a breakout.
Yes, CFG, if you just look at it a little bit, it doesn't look like the general consensus is too high on that.
No, it's they were saying it's a somewhat disappointing IPO, but it's the second largest of the year. And I actually saw a chart. I saw a really interesting chart. And
was there an investment bank that didn't even underwrite that?
Good apparently, they were all involved with Alibaba, so apparently that was the reason.
Well, they must have been involved in this. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Barclays, Citi, Deutsche Bank, RBS, and Wells Fargo.
So maybe did Citizen Financial underwrite their own IPO? That's a possibility.
Well, Well, I don't know. Are they like involved with Citibank?
No, I don't even know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything um, about them other than that their IPO was below the range, I guess, that they were looking for. But
There we go. Well, RBS was an underwriter. Racer X said Citizens is a wholly owned subsidiary of Royal Bank of Scotland
oh,
in
okay.
Edinburgh, and
Okay.
RBS was one of the underwriters.
Well, maybe
So how does that work?
I don't
I
know.
wonder, does that have any? I would have thought, what did that have to do with
Maybe they were disappointed with the Scotland
the
vote turnout.
right, the lack of secession from the European Union?
Yeah. Yeah. No. I don't know if you saw my tweet. I was kind of like, if Scotland is the first to go separate, Texas will be the second to go. They'll go independent at some point.
I
If
did see that.
Scotland does.
Hey,
I'll be long gone from
Texas
Texas before then.
Texas already thinks they're their own country anyway.
It pretty much is its own country, that's for sure.
Yeah.
At least we'll get rid of that. Well, I can't say I like him. I can't say I dislike him, but that old Perry guy will be gone in November when we have new governor elections. I think a lot of people will be happy to see him out, but
Holy cow.
Texas.
If you look at that, yeah, well, yeah, Perry's got some big problems. RacerX posted a link to the underwriters. I don't know if there was any major bank that wasn't involved in this. One I don't think I see on here is like Bank of America.
Which Bank of America has done very well since I called that out 2 weeks ago on the show. This was one of the stock picks on the show 2 weeks ago, and still performing well. Got this breakout and held up and broke out again and closed near the high today. Looked like Bank of America still looks like it's wanting to push higher. Matter of fact, banks in general have been performing well. I mean, Bank of America held up during that downtrend. Look, J.P. Morgan held up. Citibank, it did have a 3-day downtrend, but it's, primarily still near the top of its range.
Their patterns look all pretty similar, too.
Yeah. So financials, are still holding up. The transportation index was beat up a little bit harder than the financials, but for the most part, it's still holding the 50-day. Now, if IYT gets under the 50-day, that might definitely perk some eyeballs up on the short side. And of course, the Qs, still holding up, fairly strong. I saw a stat today. Matter of fact, one of our trading, when we get to the trading simple programs, the stat that I saw today, if we would have closed negative today, this would have been the fourth down day. And there's a stat to essentially buy on the fourth down day. If you get 4 days, buy at the close of the fourth down day. And after 3 days, there's a 76% chance of it moving higher. And I forget the percentage, higher. It was closer to about 1% or whatever. But, that's a pretty good edge to have at 76% on that little
oh, yeah,
system. But, we don't get usually 4 days down in a row in this climate. It's been very rare. So that trade happens like 3 times a year or something. So in general, here's the U.S. dollar. Still.
That's funny. I read that. I read a couple of articles about that today, about the strength of the dollar and the positives and negatives. And normally the dollar moves opposite of the market. Or at least that's what the article said, generally. But it hasn't done that.
Yeah,
So,
QE has kind of been the crushing part of the dollar, and so ever since the QE started been coming off the table, the dollar has been improving since mid-July. That's
well, and you've got positives and negatives with a strong dollar, right? Um, I mean, you're going to potentially take a hit with exports, and then but obviously imports are going to be better. It's far cheaper to bring stuff in when you have a strong dollar, and then it's going to be more expensive to,
yeah,
or wait, it, it's going to be cheaper to ship them out. I got that backwards. It's going to be cheaper to ship them out and export, and more expensive to bring them in. Or not for us to bring them in, but for people to send stuff to us. So I guess really it is more expensive for imports because it's going to be more expensive for somebody else. We had the Scotland thing, and then Europe is still all kinds of screwed up, and
yeah. And
but
gold has been, while the dollar's been, running, the gold's been basically knocked down. Everyone keeps trying to jump in low, and I know a couple weeks ago somebody was asking about Nugget in the room, and I say, why do you want to buy Nugget? What makes you want to get in Nugget? And a lot of people like to buy support, and I
right.
call it buy support and hope that it's support, but some people are good at it. I'm not good at it, so I don't ever try to buy support. But we were talking about it a couple weeks ago when we were watching this range, which seemed like it had some support. And I said, but why do you want to buy this thing? It's below the 200 day, it's below the 8 day, it's below the 50 days, below the 20 day. All moving averages are moving down. What in the world makes you want to buy it? And it's never even closed back above the 8 day. So I don't remember who it was. Hopefully they didn't get involved with it. But I do not like buying what I'll call broken stocks. There are some people that are very good at it, buying stocks at the bottom, and but I'm not one of them. I'm awful at it.
Well, that's if you're good at finding the bottom too.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit later is trend following, and I follow my bond system is a trend following system, and I'm very much into trend following. Matter of fact, if you use trend following and use this ATR today, you would have been able to stay into the trade pretty much all day once you got long. And of course, you're not going to pick the bottom. Let me just pull this back up. Where is my ES chart here? ES. I flipped it to ZB, didn't I? I flipped it to ZB and.
Well, I'm going to imagine though, and I haven't looked at this closely, but I'm going to assume that the price of gold is going to move opposite of the price of the dollar, right? Because when the dollar gets weaker, I think that people want a tangible asset.
Yeah.
Even though we're not on the gold standard anymore, I think they want a tangible asset now when the dollar starts to get strengthened, and given all the stuff with interest rates and all that, without going through all the moving parts of that, I think there's a little bit more faith in the dollar, and people don't, it's almost like buying, sticking the money under the mattress.
Yeah.
To an extent. And so now they don't feel like they have to have that to have security as much, and so therefore I think the price of gold is going to, it's going to drop. And
you notice all those gold ads disappeared on TV. I can remember about a year and a half ago when gold was sitting up, I think it was around 2000, and there was all these ads. I'm like, I think we had a top in gold, because it seemed like there was a gold ad out on TV every night. I could be watching a baseball game and, on CNBC, these gold ads, Vectors Plus, come to us and we'll,
Right.
I mean,
right.
Sunny saw one last on last night.
The pawn shops.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to knock on the front door. Hey, we got a place to put your gold. Where you want to put it? But when I was talking about the trend following, that why I'm just not good at picking bottoms, because I'm kind of a trend follower, and so I buy much more on strength. I have been, at least with Johnny's systems of his wedge entries and stochastics at the bottom. I have at times been able to capture those trades well. And that's about the only bottom charts I've ever been able to pick out well. But in trend filing, see, here's where at 10:09 we had this ATR break, which is a break of this downtrend. So if you were picking the bottom, you were buying down in this area. I'm not buying in this area. I can't do it. But there are probably people who are good at picking these support levels down at 1970, 50 that we came down to. And there are people good at that. I'm not good at it. So I don't I don't like those kind of mean reversion trades. And I like to buy on some strength. We finally got some strength. We got a close over the 20-day. We had a reversal from the open and from the close yesterday. And so this is where I like to start buying. And then this is if you want to add on. You can actually add on with trend filing. Like this is a good place to add on to your position and scale this one back off. Add on, scale back off. But trend filing like today would have been able to keep you in the trade pretty much all day long.
Right.
Now, I got out at 89 today, but didn't ride it all the way up. But 89 was a target I was looking at based on some resistance yesterday. Matter of fact, if I take off this chart and I remove the 24-hour session and just put it on the regular trading hour session, you'll see how well trend filing can work for you. Let me move this to the 24-hour CME US Index Futures. Hang on, I just want RTH. So let me get this to that's ETH2, I want RTH, regular trading session only.
And in case anybody out there is not real sure what Charlie's saying, the ETH is extended trading hours, RTH is regular trading hours.
Okay, so here is a sort of trend filing system that kind of keeps you into your bias. So this was the breakdown here 2 days ago on the 22nd. No, this was yesterday's breakdown. No, this was 2 days ago. This is Monday's. Monday's breakdown where we gapped down. ATR broke right here from where we left off on Friday. ATR broke, telling you there is a trend change on a 5-minute chart. We were under the 50-day moving average, and this trend from Monday continued into the close, gapped down on Tuesday. We climbed back up into the range on Monday, but we could not break out above Monday's pivot range here around 1989. Broke back down. We still couldn't, even when we had this run up late in the day, and then at the last 15 minutes, the market just got whacked hard. And then we pulled down this morning, got down just below yesterday, and then finally, this is, we had a trend change. So number one, it would have been hard to buy this on a trend following system, but a trend following system is meant to take the meat of the move. And so in this case, you're trying to get this portion of the move. And in this case, you're trying to get this portion of the move. You're trying to get 80% of the move. You'll never get the whole move. But if you go look in Google trend filing, start reading about them, there's several different systems you can use for that. In the futures markets, I like to use the ATR trailing stop. In the stock market for long-term holds, I like to use the 50-day as a big entry on a new close over the 50-day, and then let it consolidate and then break out over a new high. If you read about the turtle traders, there's a lot of different ways to develop trend filing. But if you're looking to hold things longer than scalping, then trend filing is the way to go. You can also trend follow on a 1-minute chart, but you just know that your trend is just not going to last very long. But it can help you still, even scalping, trend filing can still help you stay in a trade.
Yeah, you just have to develop the right system for it, right? And kind of get a feel for it.
Yeah, and back test it. So our bond system that Jeff and I run is completely back tested. Our trend filing system is back tested, forward tested, and we've been running live now since the beginning of summer. So that's why products like NinjaTrader can help you. Where I toss, you backtest what and toss. You show me how to backtest and toss. It's not possible.
Well, it is if you have a DeLorean and 1.21 gigawatts.
Even then, you still can't do the same type of, backtest.
Right.
And you basically can do a replay. You can basically go back and do a replay. But even doing a replay and toss, that's where you need try doing a replay and toss when you got about 15 charts open. It just doesn't happen very well or efficient.
Yeah.
You need RPM system.
You still need a DeLorean and 1.21 gigawatts.
Yes. And I know lots of people will look at 24-hour sessions charts, but let me tell you, sometimes it is nice to take out the noise that happens in the overnight in your chart. See how much cleaner this cleaned up by taking out the overnight noise? If I add the overnight noise back, let's see what it does. Now, there's some things about the overnight you need to be aware of and know where the Globex lows and the Globex highs are, but you really don't have to have them in your candlesticks. Let me take this back out. Data.
You know what I would throw out about that though too, and even if you don't keep it on there permanently, if you're gonna include the overnight stuff, throw in a volume indicator on there. And just take a look and see what your volume is on that, just to get an idea as to why the noise can be kind of a pain, right? Because so little volume, you can have a really diverse or really, I don't know what the word is right now, but you can get a lot of choppiness with low volume and price movement that's really not indicative of what's actually going on when you do that stuff overnight. And I think that's kind of one of the things I picked up when we were doing the overnight show, Charlie. I still don't know how we did that. Good God almighty, I don't even know what we were thinking.
Yeah. So I put the chart.
It was crazy, but it was fun. I did learn a lot.
Hold on. I put the chart back with the 24-hour session. Look how much choppier this thing now looks on a 24-hour session. Still some tradable things in here, like today's breakout, but your chart can become a lot choppier. So I tend to take out the when I'm actually trading, I tend to take out the overnight session and just aware of the Globex highs and the Globex lows that occurred in the overnight. So is there any stock request out there to look at anything?
RPM's fired at us, Charlie.
Is he? What's he saying? I don't like the bad talking on toss. That's my show. I got my trading career started with toss. There are a lot of advantages to toss, especially if you're trading a small account. Well, I don't even know. There are advantages to trading a smaller account, but the $9.95 commission in and $9.95 commission out for a turn is ridiculous. That's why I'm trying to get at least in a Robinhood, because if I can pay zero commissions, then I'm much happier with that. But now there's some things that toss to like about it, but I would not be where I'm at today with the back testing and knowledge if I was still using toss. So at some point, I think you progress yourself off toss onto other tools that actually can really, really help your trading once you've got a lot of the basics down. But toss is a good place to start and provides a lot of charts for you at a extremely low cost of entry. So
don't try and run too many charts at one time. Really, seriously, TC2000 and NinjaTrader I think that those are excellent platforms.
Yeah, and this TC2000 beta that we've been running for them, I've had not one issue since I've have been running it. So it's been great. Hopefully we'll see TC 2000 in Las Vegas, and they can tell us when this will come out of beta. But so I don't know if anybody's got. Let's see. So Hoover's got a couple of chart requests. Let's look at Apple because I'm still
Apple price line.
I'm still holding some Apple, but I hope it doesn't bend like their dang phones. Let's see here.
Yeah, what was the deal with that? I briefly saw that about the phone bending.
Oh, Apple phones. Well, let me go. Let me pull up the Apple charts. I pulled up breast implant charts, and it's exploding.
Breast
I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. Breast implants and Botox are at all-time highs.
All right, that's something I gotta hear about.
Apple's still holding up. I'm holding a small amount of shares in Apple, and I'm playing for this breakout to happen, but it's wearing my patience down now. But Apple hasn't necessarily broke down yet. But their news they came out with is they're having some complaints on the new iPhone 6 about people putting it in pockets and then it bends because their phone is a good quality. There's no doubt about that. But their phone is more of an aluminum frame as opposed to, let's just see here.
Stronger metal or.
Right. It's, like the Note 2 or Note 3. I've got the Note 3. And this thing is, rock solid. It is not going to bend. And I've never had any problems with it in my front pocket. But so I think there are some people that have had some issues with putting it in their front pockets. And then today they released iOS 8, but then I think this morning or something they released a new version of it, the next version. And apparently had to pull it back because there were some software issues with it. So
I did see that.
So the last couple of days, haven't been the best news for them. Again, I don't necessarily trade on news, but their price is, still been a little bit frustrating in this area, but it's still holding up. It's still in this uptrend that from the gap up from earnings in April. I'm still waiting for, a breakout. And
they have consolidated a little bit though.
Yeah. This is somewhat of a consolidation period here. They've had some news with their announcement, and this was the announcement day, and but still, it's holding up. There's nothing that says to get out of Apple yet. We get a close, below the 50-day and a break of this trend line, I don't want to be holding Apple at that point, and I will be in a loss in this trade. But that's okay. I am playing, for the breakout. If it breaks down and I take a loss, It's just a trade. You move to the next one. But I am trying to play for a break here. At least today's close. We still held the 8 and 21 day. Had a nice run up yesterday. Even with news today, it still held the 8 and 21 day. It did bounce up against a separate trend line, but nothing says to get out yet. So if you're holding Apple, there's nothing that says to get out. If you, if we want to close below yesterday's candle, which would take us below the 21 day, then this, could be an exit for you. I will be waiting until a close underneath the 50-day or a close below this trend line. So if you're not in Apple yet, you may wait till the break of this trend line, or at least to clear 103.10 or the current recent high at 103.58 and make an entry. But so Hoover, I don't know if you're holding it or not, but I don't see anything that says sell Apple. But I am frustrated that it is, not making another leg higher at the moment. So just, if we get a close below the 21 day, be cautious if you're holding a bunch of it and you want to take off some. But definitely a breakdown here. I would be a little bit more concerned.
I'll tell you know what? I'm waiting to get in.
Priceline. Let's go to Priceline.
I'm waiting to get into Apple when they announce their release or their launch of the left-handed iPhone.
Yeah. Priceline, my favorite travel website for cars. Because all I do is bid for cars. I bid $10 and $12 and get them just about every time.
What happened to Uber?
Well, that's for a taxi. If I need a taxi, if I need to rent a car, I usually end up going to Priceline. Now, Costco travel, have gotten some pretty good deals. But if I can't get a good deal, I always go to Priceline and score a home run. Priceline, I haven't charted this thing in a while. Matter of fact, looking at my charts, after it crossed 1,000, I gave up looking at it. Don't know why I did, but it looks like after it crossed 1,000, I gave up looking at it. Priceline, it doesn't scream buy to me here. It's below all the major moving averages, all kind of turning down. The 50s pointed down, the 20s pointed down, even the 200s sort of curling down. It's kind of holding up this recent area in here, but can't really tell is it's just sort of flagging or what this is doing. See if there's some support to be found anywhere in this area. Oops.
You know what this means?
What?
More William Shatner commercials.
He'll be back. There seems to be some support down here in this $1,100 and $11 range. Probably this whole area seems to be a little bit of support, so you certainly don't want to lose that. But I'd let Priceline for myself clear up. I don't see anything that strikes me.
Yeah, I don't like that. You think they tried to recruit Leonard Nimoy to get on those commercials too?
We need another Star Trek movie. I'm sure we'll get one.
We're getting Star Wars.
Let me go back to PCLN again. Let me look at that. I'm not seeing anything that says buy, but for the most part, let me go to a weekly chart. How is it holding up in the weekly? See, it's a little oversold in the weekly, but we got some moving averages crossing down, even on the weekly. Stochastics a little oversold. It looks like it could be, maybe get a little bit of a bounce, but I don't see anything for a good swing on it yet. I would wait for it to. I'd let these moving averages clean itself back up. This looks like it probably needs to just kind of range for a couple months. Maybe going into middle of November and Christmas, you might see some good action in Priceline. Let's see what else is in the chat room. Any other stocks in there? Highlander posted a video trying to bend the iPhone. I think I seen that video.
I think I did too. I think we take a musical break here for a minute.
That sounds pretty good. I thought I saw one more request. One more. Microsoft. Apple will be the new Microsoft, so it wasn't a request for Microsoft. So anyway, I think that covers anything from the chat room. So I think a musical break sounds good. I can get a bathroom break, and when we come back, let's go into the trend, a little more into trend following, and we're going to play the roll the dice game. There we go. All right, Jeff is not back yet, but definitely, a long time since I heard that song, and that's a good song actually when you think about trend following. It's a convoy. You need to get on here, and you got to ride this. You don't ride this, you will never make money in this market. Got to ride this convoy right there. Ride it, ride it, ride it. You back yet, Jeff?
Yes, I am back.
Good deal. That's a great trend following song, Convoy. I was saying you got to get on that train and just ride that convoy, and that's kind of trend following.
This here's the rubber duck. We're about to go hunting bears.
So we're about to play the dice game to kind of explain trend following in a very simple term. And Jeff, I don't know how you're going to see it on your end, so I'd suggest turning on the video to the show, but just mute it so you can see.
Yeah, I've got DTR up, but I've got the volume turned down and all that.
Okay, so I'm going to pop open a chart because I don't think. Let's see here. I'm going to open up my Google spreadsheet. All right, so this is going to be the dice roll game. Let me bring this chart. Come on now. Okay. So, one of the things about trend following that a lot of people struggle with, and let me see if this is actually going to work. Here it is. Okay. So, one of the things that people struggle with is trend following is the win rate and probability success of your entry. So the turtle traders, if you read up on them, their success rate in trading was very low, like 27 to 30%. I think some people were as low as 25%. That's a very low win rate, 25%. So that means in the turtle traders, 75% of your trades go against you. The key is in trend trading is that you make the stomps, you know where you're wrong, and you just accept and take the loss. And what you're trying to do is to get that percent of times, in their case, 25% of those runners to run and hold on to them. You don't let them go until that trend ends. It can be simply as, here, let me go. What was it? AA. This was a really great example of a trend following I saw last week. I think it was AA. Yeah. Alcoa. So let's just say this thing got above. Here's a trend following example. After it gets out above and breaks above the 50-day, you wait till it breaks to a new high. So, for example, back in May 2013, got above the 50-day. It's climbing up. It pulls back, and here is an entry, like a trend following entry right here above the 50-day.
Right.
If this closes below the 50-day, you get out. You get out of the trade. It's kind of a trend following example. But as long as this stock trades above the 50-day, you do not exit. You just don't exit. There's nothing to say to get out of the stock. And it was just of recent, AA broke through the 50-day, which was last week, September 16th. This in a trend following system says get out. And you can do this on trend following works on any different time frames. But for swing trading, the daily is a great place to get some really good swings. You do this and hold, a year, you are going to build some, account size and wealth. But in order, if you tried this back a few times, it probably took you a couple times to get it right. So you got to make sure your losses are small. But once you get it, you hang on to it. And so for trend followers, an example in our bond system averages between 45 and 55% win rates. So roughly 50%. So that means psychologically, I have to deal with 50% of my trades losing. And, that's a part of that's the downside to trend following is you've got to have, it works very well in automated systems. It works very well mechanically as long as you follow the rules and do not deviate from the rules. And that is hard for people. People along the way like to take their profit, but what we tend to do is we tend to hold on to our losers too long before we let them go, and we tend to sell our winners, before you needed to. So this is a dice simulation to kind of give an idea of how trend following works. So I'm going to roll the dice. If a number 2 or 6 comes up, then I'm going to get, say, three pennies for a 2 or 6 and get 1 penny for a 1, 3, 4, or 5. So my first dice roll I had was a 6. So we'll go ahead and put three pennies in there that I made for that trade. And we're going to roll this out 25 times and see what the cumulative effect is here. Roll it again. Oops. Come on now. Don't want to roll that many dice. Roll. Oops, turn on the sound. All right, 3. So that's going to go over here. So we get a 1 penny loss for the 3. Rolling the dice. A 1. We get a 1 penny loss for the 3. Roll the dice. Hey, we got a 2. We got a winner. We got a trend following winner on that one. 6. Hey, we got 2 in a row. Boy, I'm feeling really good. I'm really up on this system. And Sunny, I don't know if Sunny's still in the room, but I tell her all the time on my bond system, it's going to lose 50% of the time in my trade, but I know exactly where I need to get out in that loss. So let's roll the dice. We got a 1. It's a loser. And, in my trend following system, when I back tested it for the last 10 years, the worst case scenario was 12 losers in a row. So I know that's like my worst case scenario that I should have happened to me while running the system. And a lot of people, if that 12 in a row comes up, boy, I'm going to be hurting. I'm not going to like that. But, you just have to keep going. So here I just had 3 losers in a row. 4 losers in a row. And so trend following is hard on, on the psyche. 5 losers in a row. You have 5 losers in a row, you start feeling like, oh, why am I trading? How can I do this? And then you get a winner. You get a trend following winner, and you start feeling pretty happy again. Roll the dice. Another loser. Roll the dice. Another loser. Another loser. Going to roll the dice. Another loser. Boy, we get lots of losers. Another loser. Wow. I'm feeling really bad. Oh, how many losers in a row is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losers in a row. Oh, thank goodness I got a trend following winner. I'm still up. Only a few trades left. Uh-oh, we got another loser. A 4, another loser. Another loser. Another loser. Another loser. Boy, do I need a winner. Got it. Big roll here at the end.
There's one.
Holy crap, we got a winner. Look at that. I mean, that's trend following exactly. Now, I mean, we only did 25 rolls, and statistically, you need a couple hundred, but you're gonna get pretty much the same answer. So
We need to start using 6 dice.
yeah,
I want to get a Yahtzee.
there you go. But you can see in trend following, one of the things you've got to learn to do is put up with these losers. And this right here, psychologically, is hard for people to understand.
Right.
Very, very difficult to understand because, 25 trades and we've had 18 of them go as losers. That's a very low percent. But yet, in the trend following system, I only needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 winners to actually come out ahead in this, example. And it doesn't matter which time frame you're on. If you're on a 5-minute time frame, 10-minute, 15-minute, daily, and so in essence, that's kind of trend following in a very simple manner that you can kind of explain it visually. Anyway, that's the dice game. I actually saw that. I forget where. And I don't know if it was in a book. It was in a trend following book. Somewhere I saw the dice game and thought, hey, let's try it out and see if it works here. And it actually did work.
Well, and I think a good thing to point out too is that shows that there's definitely a place to try to mitigate your risk, try to hedge it, potentially scale your trades, do it because that was all random. It's almost like the random walk. The whole deal with the market, and I think that's a good way to show. Try to hedge your trades. Try to scale them. Try to mitigate your losses. Do whatever. Do whatever you can to kind of try to protect yourself on the downside.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It, when you read about trend following systems, you're going to read about the ATR a lot, and you're going to read a lot about risk and how much you should put into each trade. They're all very, very important components. And we'll get to this a little bit later. If you're trading on a $5,000 account, you have some limitations because you can't hold very many positions. $5,000 account gives you maybe $10,000 leverage, and you're not going to try to get yourself rich overnight with that.
RPM says you just confused them.
Did I? We need to take RPM out to Vegas and roll some dice. So one of the other things I was looking at today, and I've mentioned this before in past shows, and I've posted this chart actually even in the room today, is the advanced decline line. So there was a point today at the lunch hour that RPM was on that I said I'm looking for 89, and then I posted this advanced decline line. And when you saw the advanced decline line, this is all you saw right here. This is all you saw of the advanced decline line. And I had said, in order for me to get my 89, this advanced decline line needs to break the downtrend and start moving higher. So this is where we came out of the gates, and we essentially made that lower low. And then we just had this surge of buying come in, and the advanced decline breath went from negative to positive right here. And so this was also right around that ATR cross. And so pay attention to the breadth of the market and the advanced decline. Like, you don't want to be taking a short trade while this is, starting to march up, and it looks like you could be getting across from negative to positive.
Okay, so explain what those two lines are, like the two. What's the purple and the green?
So the green line is the basically the New York Stock Exchange advancers in the market, stocks that are advancing higher, and the purple line are stocks that are advancing lower.
Okay.
And so when we had that sell-off again this morning, so the purple line, the decliners, started ramping up. And when the purple line is above the green line, that means breadth is negative. And if you use the indicator pack on DTR, they have a very simple kind of dial that you can look at and watch, and it just tells you if you're negative or positive. So when it's negative, you don't necessarily want to be looking for long trades. When it's positive, it's the same like when Algo X. So you can use Algo X. If there's a lot more buying pressure than selling pressure, it kind of tries to help you stay on the right side of the trade. So when I was looking for 89, I said in order for 89 to happen, I can't have this breadth decline line crossing back down and then this purple line moving higher and the green line moving lower. If that happens, I'm just going to wind up getting stopped out.
Right, because the gainers are dropping and the losers are not right. They're converging there.
Right. So what happened during the day when in this period area right in here is basically that consolidation. This is that pullback, and I'll show it to you again. This is consolidation. Which was what was healthy and helping me lead to 89, that it looked like it was going to break out because ATR was holding, and we were basically seeing consolidation. So we consolidated, taking a rest, and then boom, the afternoon was pretty much all advances over the decliners. So there are many indicators to look at breadth. This is one that I use along with Algo X breadth indicator. But this one always tells, I like the advanced decline line because it tells me a little bit of the story of kind of what's going on. If I mark that up with the ES chart and just sort of put it in here. Okay. So right here was the run up of this. Right here was the run up at 9 o'clock, which was this period right here. And then this is the consolidation period, which is this period right in here. This is the consolidation period. And if you miss this run up, this is the period you're looking to see how it reacts in the consolidation through this period. And it's consolidated well, broke out again, held this pivot high right here, and it just continued to break out. We had another one right there. This was another entry point that if you get in, where you're wrong. A break below this 1084 is your stop. So you're only looking at both of these. You're looking at a 2 or 3 point stop to get long. Now, getting long up in here, your risk reward is getting a lot less because this is later in the day.
Right.
But with trend filing a little bit about where your stop placement needs to go. The best entry was down in here, but there were a couple other areas to get in. And that advanced decline line, once I saw it breaking out, I was feeling confident that we were going to get to 89. And then right before in the chat room, I said just one more push and I'll get my 89. And it was this push right there that got the 89. So, today's trade worked out really well. Doesn't always work out well by any means. But when you're in a trend filing system and you're in it, you've got to learn to stay in it and hold that trade as long as you possibly can. Even some would say I got out, too early here at 89. We're trading at 89.75, but this was a range that we were pivot highs around 2 days ago that I was looking at and yesterday and said, I think we're at least, if we do get the break, we're going to at least retest and re-auction into this area in here. So sometimes you get lucky. But anyway, the advanced decline line, trend following, those were some things that we wanted to talk about. Other things, trend following, one of the areas that trend following works really well, it works in the indices. You'll see it a lot in the bonds, which is why I use it, and you'll see it in commodities, oil, energies. You'll see it in like coffee and sugar and cotton, and then even in like gold and silver and copper. Those are big areas where you'll see a lot of trend following techniques. And then even in stocks, you'll see a lot of trend following techniques in stocks. So there are lots of areas to actually use it. I'm going to post a link in the room here to a paper on trend following that is a pretty good read. And so it's a PDF file. Let me open this link. It's A Century of Evidence of Trend Following Investing is the title. And this was done fall of 2012 by AQR Capital Management. And so this weekend, when you got some downtime, I just posted that in the chat room to have a read of this because it's a very good article that was put together. And then also do some research on the turtle traders and just Google trend following and read up on it and find a system that kind of fits the time frame that you're looking for, your risk reward areas, and start testing some things and see how it works for you.
Yeah, I play around with it. We've talked about this before. Paper trading can't really mimic real trading, but it'll give you an idea and it'll at least give you a direction as to what may or may not work. And I would recommend messing around with it.
Yeah, I don't like to refer to it as paper trading because, like you said, you don't really have skin in the game.
Right.
I kind of like to refer to it more as simulation. It's a place. It's a place.
Training camp.
It's training camp.
Spring training.
It's a place to simulate your ideas and thoughts after you've back tested something. Just because you back tested something for the last 2 or 3 years doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work when you put it in the implementation. So why not build it in the simulation first before you go live? So that's another great area to use paper trading, simulation, whatever, not live money at risk. Training, education, how to learn a system, it's great on, and it's great to test some theories out. But other than that, until you put money in the game, it's a completely different ball game, which most of us all know because most of us have some money in the game and all have felt we've all felt that pain all too much of the
right. bad
trades
right.
and the bonehead trades that that we take. So
well, I would agree with you, Charlie, as far as the simulation trading thing. I like that because it doesn't matter how much. Obviously, you have the psychology, the emotional element, and all that stuff as far as what you're willing to risk. And it's far easier to throw monopoly money out there when it's not going to hit you in the wallet. But I think it's a great breeding ground for strategy because it doesn't matter what you risk. You can take some play money and risk $1 million, 500,000, whatever you risk. But you can test a theory. You can test, however you want to develop a trading strategy, and it will allow you to see how that works, regardless of how much money you make on paper. I would not paper trade to try and see how much money I can make. I would do that to test the strategy and see what the impact on that is. And really, the impact is not based on how much money you're going to trade, right? Does this system work or not? And whether you're trading $500,000 or $1 million simulated, it's either going to work or it's not. And you just test it out.
Yeah, simulated gives you the closest result you can get before you go live, as long as you can make sure that you take your commissions out of it and give yourself some slippage of 1 or 2 ticks
Right.
as well. So that kind of gets to our next segment where we're going to talk about trading on smaller accounts and some things that that you can, I guess, areas of things to think about if you're trading a small account. So maybe somebody opened up a $2,000 toss account or a $5,000 account with stage 5 futures. And one of the areas, and we hit on this a little bit last week in our roundtable discussion, which was, you're running a business, and in that business, what do people in businesses do when they run it? They want to keep their expenses as low as possible. So do whatever you can to lower your commissions. That $9.95 round trip on Thinkorswim is absolutely ridiculous. If you're paying that $9.95 a round trip, give them a call. Ask them to get that down, cut that in half to $4.95. It never hurts. Those negotiations are there are people that are paying less than $9.95 for a round, for a one-way in toss. Now, a lot of it, your leverage is going to depend on account size and how much you're trading and the commissions you get, but it doesn't hurt to call and ask. So that's why this Robinhood has me very, very interested in it with the $0 commissions. It will allow me, to use swing trading in my stock accounts and allow me to use Robinhood, and using Robinhood at a $0 commission. That's great. And if you can get into Robinhood, even better. And I'm going to share a link to where in the chat room to where you can go sign up for it. And
right, you can go sign up for it. So Charlie's going to get the credit for it. I'm just joking.
Hey,
you're way better.
Well,
you're way better off getting that than I am at this point.
Well,
I'm just in trouble.
yeah.
You're fine.
You can also do me a favor by clicking on the link and just signing up and getting in there, because I'm going to post this. This is how many people I have ahead of me in the Robinhood people before I get in. I am down to only 867 people ahead of me, and I'll get my Robinhood access. And when I get that access, I'll record some trades, test it out, and we'll do a show and give a review of Robinhood. What's it like? What's the feel like? It's free.
What Charlie's saying is that he's only 867 people away from getting a bow and a quiver of arrows.
That's right.
So click on that link.
Click on that link and
get him in there.
and sign up. You might go to 400, 500,000 in line, but eventually you'll get in too, and you can get some free commissions. Now, I haven't read a lot about this, and I'm sorry I jumped in, interrupted you. I apologize. But how do they get away with doing this zero commissions thing? Because I signed up for it, but I didn't read up on it a lot. Well, I'm not entirely sure. They're well funded, and we're going to play an interview right now about them. That Robinhood that Howard Lindzen did. I think it was yesterday or the day before. It was pretty recent, and so I think they probably go into a little bit about it. But they apparently got some big funding a couple days ago. Let me Google Robinhood, because they were in the news. They got some very big funding. Robinhood. This was on the Tech Crunch. Robinhood raises $13 million to democratize stock market with zero commissions trading app. So
now, what part do Kevin Costner and Morgan Freeman play in this?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So,
is that where they got their money from?
I am sure in some of the very early stages of angel investors, they're, who's that? What's that one kid that always Kirshner? What's his name? What's that Hollywood guy? that it's always investing. I can't think of his name. If I go ask my wife, she'll know who it is.
What's he been in? Sonny, have a great evening, sweetheart.
Hey, Sonny, see you tomorrow. I can't remember his name, but a lot of those. There is a lot of money that comes from people like that in the angel fund investing from some celebrities. Do throw out some money as high risk.
Was it Ashton
Kutcher? That's it.
Ashton
That's
Kutcher,
it. That's
is
it. That's Ashton Kutcher. He's a big angel fund investor. A lot of people don't know that. So go ask him to start your Kickstarter project, fund your Kickstarter project. So where did I put this? Where did I put this video interview? Well, I'll just go right here and I'll get it. Take the long route when you don't have any route at all, right?
Take the long road home.
The long route is better than being lost.
No route at all. Wait a minute, why didn't that work? Well, we got problems
What's that?
in River City, Charlie.
Well, what's going on? The Cardinals.
We lost 3-1.
So we're still waiting for that one game clinch, right? The magic number.
I think we're still at 3. I need to see. I need to see what Pittsburgh did tonight. I think we're off tomorrow. We got 3 games left against Arizona. And
why am I going there? I can just go to my account.
oh, yay, Braves. Braves beat Pittsburgh 6-2. We're still up by a game and a half. So I think our magic number should be.
So I'm here
2.
today with.
Okay, I found it, Jeff.
Okay.
So this is about 15 minutes with Howard Lindzen and one of the guys from Robinhood, and they go into a little bit of explanation and background of it. So I'm going to give it a listen to, and hope enough of you all in the chat room clicked that link and signed up to get me across the hump so I can do a review. So here's an interview. Robinhood, the future of mobile brokerage.
I'm doing a vlogcast, and Vlad can't be here, so I've got a Baiju cast going, and this is everybody welcome Baiju Bot or Brat?
Bot.
Bot, from one of the founders of Robinhood, and we have big news. Baiju today and team announced a 13 million. That's the equivalent of 1 billion pesos or 11 bitcoins they've raised in a Series A round to help them launch their magnificent Robinhood app. And Baiju, tell us just quickly a little bit about yourself and how you guys started on the Robinhood path.
Absolutely. I'll tell you a little bit about Robinhood is all about and kind of what we're trying to do. So Robinhood is a company that exists to make financial markets more accessible to a really large audience of people. And as the name kind of suggests, our goal is to kind of take a lot of the technologies and sort of structural advantages that institutional investors have had for quite a while and bring them to individual investors. And so Robinhood is a stock brokerage. It's a mobile app that Howard can show you that lets you buy and sell stocks with 0 commissions. And the whole product.
Why is 0 commissions so important, do you think? Is it that final $8 needs to come out of the system in one swoop?
I've thought about that a lot, Howard, and I think it's really important because it's the primary way that sort of the accounts with the smallest amount of cash pay for the service. So it's kind of like the most expensive part of using a financial service for the people that have the least money. So it's kind of makes it the worst part of brokerage, in my opinion. And that's kind of like, yeah. And so when we were kind of designing and building Robinhood as a service, that was like one of the things that we were really excited about, is that we could take away the primary cost structure for folks that don't have a lot of money. I think historically there's been this idea that people have been like, well, you need millions of dollars to buy and sell stocks. And then that was kind of, that sort of idea was thrown out the window with online brokerages like E-Trade and Fidelity. And today we think that you don't even need thousands of dollars to trade stocks.
And so you'd be happy, more as Schwab and E-Trade and Fidelity head upstream to wealth management. You have Wealthfronts of the world, and you have hundreds of millions of VC money going after advisorship money. If your first million accounts were $10,000 and under, that's a business.
That's a business.
And it's a good business.
It's a great business. Yeah.
And so what else can we tell me? I mean, trust. So how do we think about trust? I trust you. I've got, I'm going to show people here quickly because I've been an early tester of the product. When I log in, 4 clicks, and I can, got bad lighting.
You didn't
I've got $59,000 in my Robinhood account. It's so easy to transfer money in and out, etc. How do we get past that trust? Why, as a 40-year-old man who still has money at Schwab, how do you think about trust in this when you think about Robinhood?
I think that's, I think trust is like critical to how financial companies really operate. It's something we've thought about a lot. And I think historically there's been this way that financial institutions have kind of communicated trustworthiness to their customers, and that's been done through like having a headquarters somewhere in downtown Manhattan, huge marble building with the name of the company like etched into the side of the building, and like images like that have communicated that financial companies are trustworthy, that they're going to be around, and they're a safe place to put your money. I think this day and age, like, distrust in Wall Street has never really been higher than it is right now. And images like that, those methods of communicating trustworthiness today, I think for a large group of people, communicate something totally different. They communicate wastefulness. They communicate a system that's broken. And that's something that we have an opportunity to really kind of communicate trustworthiness to people in a totally different way. So when I think of digital services that I trust and I really love, they're the ones that let me do all the things that I want to do with those services from within like a mobile app or with an online interface that kind of has so many of like the little things that I need to do easily automated that it just tells me that they know what they're doing. And that's kind of what we're aiming to do with Robinhood.
And is there any, even if we did trust the old institutions, is there any benefit over if you have $200,000 in an E-Trade account or $200,000 in a Robinhood account? Is there any special benefit of E-Trade in terms of protection over Robinhood?
From an SIPC and insurance perspective, there isn't. So Robinhood accounts are SIPC insured up to $250,000, I believe. The stuff is on the disclosures are on our website, but Robinhood is a member of SIPC and FINRA, all the same as the E-Trades and the Fidelities of the world. So, yeah, there's really nothing else from that point of view that I'm aware of that any of the other brokerages provide to customers. What you might get is you might get the ability to talk to somebody on the phone at E-Trade.
Boom! Boom!
Yeah, or like go into an office or something like that. But truth be told, that sounds like an inconvenience to me.
It is. I've definitely been using it for months. I'm excited, from an investor standpoint about the participation idea of. Does that word mean anything to you? Participation when we think about markets?
Yeah, I think it's a different way of thinking about markets that is kind of cool, and I think it's one that is going to be really sticky with younger investors. Like the idea of being able to kind of use the markets as a way of voicing your stances on companies, how they behave, whether you think they're ethical or not. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting way of using markets that hasn't really been explored too much so far.
And the access too. I mean, giving people access to brokerage from the tip of, from the few clicks of the finger is interesting. What is like a critical thing that you think about every day? Is it how to open an account? What's the number one thing that you guys think about?
Probably security and scalability right now. Because as you know, we opened up the beta for Robinhood at the beginning of the summer, or like late spring, and it's been useful. We've had a lot of folks like you giving us great feedback, and it's been getting a lot better. But there's just a huge gap between where we are right now and where we want to be in terms of like being able to onboard those 500,000 people on the wait list right now. So making sure that all the systems downstream can handle all of those accounts, and also making sure that we have really sophisticated mechanisms in place for detecting fraudulent activity or things that aren't supposed to happen in the system is a big focus right now. And we've got some good stuff in the works for that, and we're actually starting this week and onboard a bunch more accounts off the wait list. So
yeah, I'm excited about that. We'll share some of those with people in the StockTwits community. We're in a world of social and mobile and finance. Where do you see StockTwits? I know you're a fan, but where do you see StockTwits and Robinhood in 2 years? Like how could we work together?
Best friends. That's yeah. I think we're trying to build like. So I think Vlad has a good analogy that he likes to use for this. So we think of brokerage to the financial services industry as like AWS is to the internet. It's like an infrastructural piece. It's a piece that needs to be really efficient and easy to use and cheap for people to be able to build interesting things on top of. And I think social is something that is critical to a lot of people, and I think it's a really cool experience around investing. And I think being able to actually buy and sell stocks as you're thinking like that, making that a really seamless thing is something that we're pretty excited about doing with you guys.
And I think, when we talk about Zecco, I mean, great idea, maybe ahead of its time, pre-mobile, desktop first. Like when you think of the people that inspired you to do this, what do you think the key differences are this time around?
Oh, between companies like us and Zecco? Yeah.
Or people that have tried zero commission or want to try it in the future or are inspired by you now. What are the key things to think about?
Yeah, a bunch of things are different from the last time I think people have tried this. A couple of things that are kind of interesting. The overall cost structure of market connectivity has gone down substantially over the last decade or so, especially with the rise of electronic trading. It's sort of taken all of the other things that it takes for a brokerage to plug in the markets, and it's made them much more efficient. So
this comes down to disrupting customer acquisition, which you guys are going to do a beautiful job of doing with this phenomenal product. And I say this as a biased, for me, large investor in your business and company and brand and team, is that, for every question I get from sophisticated people on down for the last year and a half, how are they going to make money? I love hearing questions like that, especially around an industry that I think I understand, in the sense of it's not about making money when your competition's spending $1,000 to get an account. And if you can disrupt the $1,000, you've just figured out a way theoretically to build value.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of the way we think about it.
And then API. So how do you think about the API? How important will that be for you?
I think it's really important. I think it's something that we want to focus a lot of effort on. It's probably going to be one of our primary points of focus once the app is available, generally speaking, and we don't have this massive queue of customers that want to use the product. So, yeah, I mean, we're still a relatively small company, and so it's very important for us to do a few things, but do them really, really well. And so right now it's very squarely focused on building the product, the actual mobile app, shipping it to people. And yeah, it's kind of cool because that helps us kind of develop the API along the way. I mean, the API that's going to be available to customers is going to be very similar to the one that we're currently using to service our mobile app. So it should be interesting. I think sometime early next year is when we're gonna really open up the gates on that.
And you'll be at Stocktoberfest demoing at the end of October.
They'll have us.
What's the next great thing? Is options an important part of how you're thinking through this for younger generation and smaller accounts? Where do you see that trend?
Yeah, I'm not much of an options trader myself, so I don't think about it too much. It's definitely in our product roadmap. That's something that we want to build pretty soon after we get the primary product out there. But I think sort of the scalability challenges that we're going to be solving in the next 2 to 3 months will make a lot of stuff like that relatively easy to release afterwards.
And you are located in Palo Alto.
I'm moving there next week, actually.
And you are single or married?
I'm engaged.
So he's engaged, so please, no Tindering, please, to Baiju. And
my fiance, I'm sure she'll get it.
Is there another financial institution that's inspired you at all, or anything? You know, who inspires you in this space?
In this space?
Yeah.
So that's a question. Let me think about that a little bit.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, come back to that.
Is it me?
Yes, it's you. That was the right answer.
What the fuck? And that wasn't even on the tip of your tongue. All right, next question.
I was thinking more of other brokerages or...
I know, I'm just kidding. Are you hiring?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about hiring, how a young person watching today can get a job with Baiju.
Yeah, did you just signal somebody to, or you just, yeah.
Just, I have a twitch. I'm just getting to that age. I hit 49, and all of a sudden I just start doing.
All of a sudden you're doing this all the time.
I see food, I scratch my feet, and I twitch my head.
You're turning into a dog. That's cool. Yeah, that's one of the primary reasons that we raised this round of funding. Is right now we're about 20 folks, and we're looking to get a little bit bigger before we launch. Big focus right now on getting really talented like engineers and product folks. Yeah,
You want them in Palo Alto, or does everybody need to be in Palo Alto?
Right now, yeah, everyone comes to the office every day. I think it's an important part of building a cohesive company culture, kind of like a foundation that once we start getting much bigger, you can kind of look back at like how the company works and have a lot of processes in place that makes it so the culture doesn't just get totally out of whack when we get bigger. But yeah, Palo Alto, it's a beautiful spot. We've got our own office building, which is cool.
Have you hired your first Facebook employee yet?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That'll take about 3 months to retrain them, but they're trainable.
Oh yeah, our engineer from Facebook is awesome. He's the one that's built most of the mobile app and the website.
So we will be checking in, hopefully every once in a while, to talk about growth, the issues of building a modern-day brokerage on the web, and as Vlad, your partner, says, you know, just this layer that you're solving to allow everybody to tap into this, what should be, you know, just like electricity. It should just flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations. You've been at it now how long? Just for the people that think this can be done overnight, how long have you guys been at this?
Yeah, we started like 3 months ago. Yeah, we started the broker-dealer process in 2012, like middle of 2012.
So heads down, it's a nice kind of moat that you've built around this idea that other people are going to be very interested in. But congratulations, it's really one of those things that I didn't, you know, you've got to really put your head down and focus dealing with FINRA, SIPC, and the SEC.
It was really challenging getting the business up and running, especially in a sort of technology culture that seems to really value the stories where something goes from like zero to enormous overnight. You know, we had a slightly different path and had to do a lot of like really hard work in the beginning, but I think it's kind of starting to pay off now. So
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
So we will look forward to more invites and releases. We will share them, and I'll let you get back to work. Congrats on today's finding. Say hello to the team.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks, Howard.
Okay, buddy.
All right, talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Okay, so that's a little bit about Robinhood and their story. And that Howard Lindzen, who did the interview, is kind of a very interesting character. I've met him about 5 years ago, and flew up to New York, and I met you. You back, Jeff?
I'm back.
Okay, so Howard, who did the interview, is a pretty interesting guy. He's a trader and angel investor and entrepreneur. I met him about 5 years ago. I actually flew up to New York to see Wall Street 2 with him and a few people from SMB Capital 5 years ago. And that was my first meeting of him. And I've met him a couple times out in Vegas. But he told me yesterday to email him. And since he knows this Baiju, that, hopefully he can help pull the chain to get me over the hump. Although if I'm only 800 people away, if I had enough clicks in the room tonight, then maybe that'll also get me over the hump. So I really think in the next month I will be able to use Robinhood and fund an account.
Right. Well, I got two things, and Famous Designer just put this in the room, and I have the same question. First of all, Howard looks like Jean Reno.
Yeah, he sometimes that dude is working 100-hour weeks, I think, for one.
Right.
For one.
But the other thing that Famous Designer asked is, how will Robinhood make money? And I'm kind of curious about that too.
I am curious about that. They also spoke about Zecco brokerage. I remember that about 4 years ago that went under. I think they tried $0 commissions. So I have no idea, nor do I care how they make money. If they're going to let me trade for $0 commissions, I'll do it until the day that they go broke and close the door. So
right.
And there's going to be a lot of people who aren't used to it because they just have a mobile app. So that means you've got to trade from your phone. And I'm good with that because I do that today when needed. Today's traders are
Hey, I'm going to jump in real quick, Charlie.
Yeah.
And I apologize for interrupting you. RPM's cutting out, and I just want to tell him thanks too. He threw some props out at us, and I want to tell him thanks for everything he does and everything Johnny does and everybody at DTR, Dry Guy, Ephraim, and everybody.
Yeah,
so
go get some sleep, and hopefully he doesn't get pinged in the middle of the night for some server issues or some hacking.
It doesn't matter. He's drinking NyQuil now.
Oh,
He ain't getting up anyway.
nice.
It ain't gonna matter.
I'll need to try that some nights, I guess. But so some people will have a hard time with the app, but like our bond system is automated. I don't need it to trade, but I have an app on my phone that if I need to go to lunch or go get my exercise, and I'm always spot checking to be sure that when it flips short, that it flips short or does, what it needs to do. And if it doesn't, I can take it over from my phone and be sure, that I need to sell or buy or whatever it is I need to do. But I've even bought, I'll get text alerts. When I use TC2000, I set it up for alerts, and I'll get text alerts. And when I get the text alerts, if I'm not right by my computer or if I'm at lunch or I'm doing something, I'll be at my phone. So, like Game today, Wage, Game was another stock. Wage, I got a text alert that it was entering the trend line. And my first look at it was on my phone. I go, oh yeah, this looks like a buy. Pulled it up on the chart, and I ended up taking the entry, in NinjaTrader. But I've taken entries on my phone before. So, but that will be a hesitant for some people because Um, not all the population is going to be comfortable being able to do that. But how they make money, yeah, I don't know. Can they make money if I put a deposit account with, if maybe they need to hope for rising interest rates, because if they get 500,000 people on the wait list and 500,000 people open up, on average a $5,000 account, I guess they got a lot of money sitting that they can actually do something with and earn interest on. But I don't know how they pay all their expenses and everything. But obviously they have the backing of Google in their funding, and they just raised this, $13 million. So somebody at least is at the moment believing in them. And as long as if I can get in the door and get $0 commissions, I will, I'll use them.
So with somebody like Google behind them, though, is this going to be a thing where this is almost like a PR campaign, right? And they get all these customers in there, and then does Google come in and buy them? And then all of a sudden, the service isn't the same as it was.
Who knows? It's like Twitter. They've not made a dime in their entire career. But look, how big are they? How many companies have they bought? They've been IPO. They've not made a dime.
Right.
And look how far they've gone. So just because I don't know how they're going to make money is not a reason for me not to use their service. So as long as their service is available and I like what they offer,
Famous designer wants to know if that's your living room.
No, it's just my office. Bedroom number 3.
The living room's far better than that.
Oh, is that for you? Oh, is that? I thought you were talking to me.
No, I was talking to you.
Oh, okay.
The famous designer was asking if that was your living room.
I probably live in this room more hours than I live anywhere else in my house. So
not the picture not you in your room. What's up there on the screen right now?
Picture on the screen.
I don't know where that comes from.
Oh, got it.
Right.
That's a screensaver on one of my. I'm so confused because I've got so many different monitors. I forgot which monitor the actual show was on, and when I pulled ours away, I got it. Now I know what you're talking about. No, I'd like to have that as my living room every day to look out in. Hopefully next summer when I move to Destin, that maybe my at least balcony can see water. That's my only hope. I don't know. I'm a little tepid about something like Google, even Facebook. I mean, they've got at least revenue streams, but Twitter, I don't know. If we go back to the paper money thing, though, I think that there is a lot of paper money there. I don't know where the valuation actually comes from. Maybe there's potential, right? And maybe there's things, and maybe I'm not as enough versed in like social media monetization, but I just don't. I see this almost like it's not like we have a whole conglomeration of this stuff, right? So I wouldn't say that we would be potentially looking at the 98, 99 tech bubble or whatever, but I don't know. I don't think I'd put money in any, like, I don't know, the valuation seems like it's all paper valuation. I don't know where you actually come up with, where's the revenue stream at, right? I mean. Right, but I have no idea where it is, but I really don't care, Jeff, where the revenue stream is.
Well,
they'll either make it on their own or fail. They'll either make it on their own or they'll fail. But while they're available, I will use them because I can lower my expenses. So
right.
I hope personally that they make it.
Well, I'm not even talking about just Robinhood.
Well, like
I'm
Twitter.
talking about like Twitter
Yeah.
like Facebook and all that stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff seems like there's a lot of pixie dust and unicorns,
Well,
as far as where their value lies. And so, but
unicorns
I
work.
agree with you.
Unicorns apparently work for Scotland.
Well,
That's their animal. So
right. Yeah, no, I would totally agree with you. I mean, even if you were able to trade for free for 6 months or a year or whatever, and you've got no commissions on that, hell yeah, jump into that.
yeah,
I would do that too.
yeah, that's what I say. Why not? So, so as we were talking about trading on a lower account, one of the things you can do is lower your commission cost. I know when I first started trading, I put enough, and if I put this into my Toss account, they'll probably kick me out now, but I put just enough in my Toss account so that I would have live charts. But I actually use Trade King to facilitate the
Your trade decisions,
my round trip
essentially.
decisions. Yeah, my brokerage,
Right.
because the costs were only $4.95. So there's another way that you can, if you have a smaller account, you know, you can fund a Toss account so you can get all the charts. But then you can also use a separate broker to open up that has lower commissions. I know on the site there's a SureTrader. I don't know what their commission charges are, but maybe they give you lower commission charges. So you want to investigate ways that you can lower your commission charges, because you are running a business, running a business.
Right.
And that discussion we had last week with Gas, because he's such a he's got he trades so many round trips. For him, it may be advantageous to join the CME and purchase a seat there, so he can really get some reduced commissions.
Right. Right.
So it doesn't only go to if you're a new trader. It goes, you're running a business. Do what you can to limit your expenses.
Well, and even if you only do it for a year, who cares? Maybe something happened, but I mean, if you can trade for free, commission free, for a year,
yeah, yeah, you know what a commission
take a bite out of that.
Commission free for a year will save you a lot.
Right.
Yeah, definitely will save you a lot. Another thing that you can do if you have a smaller account, if you find something and there are some brokers that, like Interactive Brokers or TradeStation, that allow you to pay like a penny per share, for example, that you purchase. So if you have a small account and you're looking to buy Apple, well, if you have a $5,000 account, it's hard to buy. You can't buy 500 shares of Apple at $100. You can't do it. So, but you can buy 25 shares of Apple. Now, if you buy 25 shares of Apple, you don't want to be paying the $9.95 to buy Apple and the $9.95 to get out of Apple on Toss for 25 shares. But if you go to an account like TradeStation or Interactive Brokers, or one of these brokers that has a commission on the amount of shares you trade, I'd rather pay 15 cents, if it was 15 cents for those 15 shares of Apple, than $9, $10. So
Absolutely.
There's another way that you can lower your cost if you have a small account. Is look for and Thinkorswim used to have that as a choice. When you signed up as their brokerage, you could choose whether you wanted the $9.95 fee or if you wanted to pay per share. And of course, if you ended up buying 1,000 shares or something, or more than that, it was more advantageous to take the $9.95 fee. But if you were buying 100 shares, a big one lot or something, you were better off to take the share price. But I don't believe offers that anymore, Thinkorswim, or now TD Ameritrade. But certainly give them a call and ask them if they do.
Okay, so now we got Schwab will match RV rates.
Yeah, Interactive Broker rates. So yeah, as MH Wang 000 is saying, don't be afraid to, call your broker, ask them to match your rate, ask them to lower your, and don't be afraid to switch brokers. And I'll bring this up for NinjaTrader. This is one of the best things I like about NinjaTrader. It doesn't matter which broker I choose. NinjaTrader is just a software that has been licensed, and I can use it on just about any broker that there is.
Right. They're like the liaison. They're like the middleman.
Right.
They're like the application.
Right. So I can switch, somebody makes me mad or raises their expenses and I want to move from one broker to another, I can. Right now, I'm very happy with using Stage 5 trading for my futures account with NinjaTrader.
Well, and the thing is, you don't have to switch platforms. So you're still trading the same. I mean, you still got your charts and everything. You still got your same setup. You don't have to move anything around. You just hook into a different broker.
Right, and I still have a TD Ameritrade account with a TOS account, and I can actually just log in using NinjaTrader to my TD Ameritrade account with a click of a button, and never even have to open TOS.
I do think with the competition out there, I think I've done that a lot of times with other different stuff too. You can negotiate that stuff, especially if you have something like NinjaTrader, which I think works really well because you can just flip, you can flip it from one broker to the other. You've got some leverage there, right?
Yeah.
Look, hey, you know what? Look, you guys aren't going to do this for me. Guess what? I'll go next door then, and I'll find somebody else, and then you just hook them in.
Well,
you don't have to learn the new platform. You don't have to do anything. You stick right there with NinjaTrader, and you move next door or 3 doors down or wherever you go. Get a different broker, hook in, whatever. Move your account. Good to go.
Absolutely. And it's like with auto insurance, it's like every 3 years you almost have to change your auto insurance carrier to get back to the low rates, because everybody will offer their introductory rates to get you in the door, and then every 6 months when you renew, they slightly creep up. After a year, they slightly creep up. After 2 years, you're like, hey, what happened to that $84 a month? Why is it now $146, for 6 months instead of $84? And that's because most people aren't willing to call around and take the time it takes to save them some money.
Exactly, and they'll just pay the extra amount.
And so it's
the same way with your cable TV too.
Absolutely, So, yeah, call around. Same thing with commissions. Call and ask.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the answer you're looking for, go knock on somebody else's.
Keep calling.
That's right.
Somebody wants your business. They'll give you a cut.
Yep.
On the rate.
Yep.
You just gotta be willing to put the effort into that.
I'm trying to pull up here NinjaTrader, and there are all the accounts that you can link into. I'm not.
While you're looking for that, I'll throw this out real quick because I had CNBC on.
Yeah.
Shark Tank is awesome.
Oh yeah, it is.
Great. That's a great show.
Okay, yeah. So you can connect with NinjaTrader. Here's a sampling. Kinetic Data is our data preferred provider, but you can connect to CQG, eSignal, Gain Capital, which I believe is the stage 5, FXCM. You can even connect to Google. The Google/Finance, it will allow you to connect to pull in their stuff. You can connect to Interactive Brokers, IQ Feed, TD Ameritrade. You can connect to TradeStation via NinjaTrader. That's hilarious. I did not know that. You can connect to Yahoo, Bar Chart, Rhythmic, Vision Financial Markets. That may even be stage 5 because I think
through you can do all that through
through NinjaTrader you can those are connection sources that you can use using NinjaTrader, and that's another reason I like it is it doesn't matter which broker I go to, I can get to it from NinjaTrader. And not much. I'm done talking about toss because it's just ridiculous. So what other? I'm trying to think. We had like a.
We talked about small time. You know what I was going to bring up about that is the thing about trading small is that I'm going to put my hat back on. I sound like a female here. My hair's a mess.
Well,
but the thing about trading small is probably if you're going to make money, you're probably going to make a lot of trades, right?
no, not necessarily. Matter of fact, some would say the less you trade, the more you make. There's, because you don't.
Right, but you're going to buy. But the thing about if you're trading like the penny stocks, so to speak, right?
No, we don't trade penny stocks, so we won't even talk about them.
Okay, well, right, but even the smaller dollar stocks.
All right, we'll say anything greater than $5.
Okay, well that's fine too. But the premise behind that is that if you're going to trade that, those aren't really buy and hold stocks generally, right? Or swing stocks.
No, they can be. It all depends on what your time frame that you're looking to trade. I mean, if you think AMD has a future long-term outlook in semiconductors, it's like a $4 or $3 stock. So you could trade that in a long-term account. I mean, there's some things to trade there. I don't like to touch those. I think what is more important or more relevant if you have a small account, I think a lot of people are more likely to trade those low dollar stocks because they feel like if I could buy 1,000 shares of something at $3, I'm getting more for my money.
Right, and that makes sense. I'd never do that, though.
And you don't actually get more for your money because when it comes down to trading, it actually comes down to a percentage gain. And sometimes you're better off, buying 5 shares of Tesla at $300 than buying 3,000 shares of AA or
Well, it comes down to your trading strategy, right?
Yeah, in the end it comes down to a percentage gain, whatever it is that you trade. So, and when you take a trade, if you have a small account, you don't want to risk more than 1 to 3% of your entire account. So this is another thing that you got to have a game plan that says, if I'm going to take a trade in stock XYZ and this is where my stop is, this is my risk, I can then trade, say you allot 3%, which is high. If you have a $10,000 account, and for that one trade, you can only have a $300 loss risk ratio. Otherwise, if you're risking more than $300, it's a trade you don't pull.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like for small stocks, like lower stocks, even if you're looking at $6-7 stocks, you can't. I mean, if you're going to scalp those, that depends on your volume. And it depends on what your commission cost is, right? So if you're going to trade something for $6 and you got 100 shares and you're going to flip it back and forth and you're paying $10 a trade and maybe you're trading that back and forth and trying to scalp it 5 times a day.
Yeah. Matter of fact, if you're scalping, there's no reason to pay $10 a share because you can't win.
Right, and that's my point.
Right, or $10. Yeah, it's just it's fruitless to do it. You're better off paper trading and saving that money, and See, I called it paper trading. Simulated trading.
Simulating trade. Simulated
Yes.
trading.
By the way, did you notice I switched and I had my Cowboys jersey on? Because what did the Cowboys do in the second half of that game last week? They pretty much came back. I will give them some credit.
They did.
They didn't roll over. They could have rolled over and just choked. And,
They were getting killed 21-0.
yeah, and it was the biggest comeback of the Cowboys' history, I think is what I heard.
34-10.
So,
34-31.
yeah, so I took off my Rams jersey. I hung it up, and I'm donning the, my favorite Cowboy player, number 82, Witten.
You're running down the field without a helmet right now. Is that how you trade now?
Pretty much.
Run down the field without your helmet on?
That's right.
That's your trade.
Well,
That's your
I guess
trading
since
strategy.
we don't use stops, that is kind of like running without a helmet, right?
Right.
Oh my! So what time is it? It's 10:40. We only have 20 minutes left in this show. Not
What do we got
sure how much more we can get to, but the last piece is the doctors in the house.
Dr. Steenbarger, correct?
Brett Steenbarger, yes. And since we only have 20 minutes left, we won't go to a break or anything, but I'll post this Rev 10. See Rev 10? It's like all bareback. Oh. Only traders.
This is a family show, damn it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one, Repton. The doctor's in the house. Brett Steenbarger. He's had the last couple of days. Again, this is a guy who posts daily, and every blog is worth the read. But this past week, he's had a couple of interviews talking about elite performance. So Dr. Steenbarger is a psychiatrist, and he's a trading psychiatrist and coach. And he has been hired by many companies in trading, and for example, worked with S&B Capital and their new traders. And for a while, he was not able to blog because he, I guess, signed in agreements that he wouldn't talk about stuff. But now he is back blogging for at least 6 months or more, maybe even a year, and it's worth a read. But anyway, this last week he's had a interview with a guy named Ted Hayes, who also has a PhD, and they've been talking about drivers of elite performance. And when you read that, there's just so much correlation to sports athletes and traders. It's absolutely, amazing how much correlation goes in between those two. So those are two articles that I would read. And he's been talking a lot about breadth and capturing strength and weaknesses. But the other day when we had the trend down day, he did a blog on what was it? How to capture a trend down day. I'm looking for it here. I'll throw this on the screen. Basically, he was so this was, I think, on Monday when we had a trend down day, 9/22. So yeah, that was Monday. And one of the breadth indicators that he is getting some very good results with is when intraday the SPY versus the percent of New York Stock Exchange stocks are trading above their VWAP. And I guess 9/22, was that a trend up day or a trend down day? I'm trying to remember. It feels like a trend up day to me. 22. Intraday SPY was trading above their VWAPs. 22nd. That seemed like that would have been a weekday. Pull up my. because that was just Monday, right? Yeah, it was a trend down day. So what is he trying to say here? I can't get to the article because I have his chart up. So let's read here. It says, I quickly threw this chart up to show the price action in SPY. The percent of New York Stock Exchange stocks trading above their day's VWAP thus far today. There are several clues to downside trend days. Here are the ones I want to focus on most. Lopsided advanced declining ratios. And matter of fact, when that advanced decline ratio chart I showed before, when you get the decliners at 2,000 2,000 or greater, you can just about expect a trend day. If you go look at the decline line on Monday, it was above 2,000. The persistent low percentage of stocks trading above their daily volume VWAP above the chart. See, that makes sense that a high percentage of stocks should be trading below the day's volume weighted average. But when I look at this chart, the blue is the SPY. The blue is the percent. I get it. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking of a stock chart. So it's in relative percent. 0 at the bottom. At the top of this chart is 60%. So, for example, this is the VWAP right here in this, call it the red line. And for pretty much the entire day, the percent of SPY stocks trading below the VWAP is pretty high. It started out at 50% of the stocks at the open were trading below VWAP and continued below VWAP all the way into basically late in the afternoon. So this is one way, if you could build this chart, percent of stocks trading above or below VWAP, that you can follow a breadth indicator. This was probably his best post of the week of something that you could build as a breadth indicator that's different than like the advanced decline line that I had shown earlier. So that's kind of my Brett Steenbarger's take this week, is to note this and maybe figure out if I can build this chart some way.
He's always got good stuff, though.
He does. He's also a very good writer. His stuff is very readable.
Right.
It's usually short and to the point. So let's look at the economic calendar tomorrow, because I have not looked at it yet.
I have not either.
We had the fantastic home sales today. It wasn't too much else going on. So let's pull up economic calendar here for Thursday, September 25th. Definitely a much busier day tomorrow, economic calendar wise. Got in the morning at 8:30 Eastern time. We got durables good orders and jobless claims. Always fun to watch. PMI services flash at 9:45. We have a Kansas City Fed Manufacturing Index at 11. As far as the bond side of things, we got a 3-month, 6-month, 7-year auctions going on. That 7-year note auction at 1 o'clock may have a little effect on the 10-year bond, and then maybe a little effect on the 30-year that we trade. And we've got Dennis Lockhart speaking tomorrow. And the Fed balance sheet is after the pit close, so we don't have to worry about one. But the you're actually your new boy here, Dennis Lockhart, Atlanta Federal Reserve, will be speaking tomorrow.
Oh, well, that ought to be good. Maybe I'll go find it.
So I don't know where he's speaking, but the Atlanta Federal Reserve Bank President Dennis Lockhart will be speaking tomorrow.
We've got weekly natural gas storage also.
Yeah, and I've been seeing some traders looking at gas storage, and are looking at the natural gas play, and it has been beaten up a little bit since summer came around and that winter passed, and so some people are looking at possible longs in it, but I haven't really paid close enough attention to natty gas.
We do have some. We've got some earnings also. I'm not seeing anybody worth looking at in earnings.
Not too much probably going on in earnings right now, but
No.
earnings season will happen again next month. So we'll get June, July, August. No,
But we do have. All right, correct me if I'm being stupid and wrong here. But do we not have do we have contracts expiring Friday?
well, I mean the weekly options. That's all I know.
Well, I've been out of pocket, but looking at my charts, like some of them, I've got to update some of these because they're gone because those have expired. But I thought they were third. What weekend are we at now?
Oh, yeah, you're a little off. Last Friday was quadruple witching weekend. That was the third Friday.
No,
So you definitely haven't gotten to the new Eastern time yet
no, I haven't.
in Atlanta.
I have not either. No wonder all the damn rooms were gone. If we had witching options.
Yeah. On Friday we've got GDP report out at 8:30. So there may be some interesting action off of that, and consumer sentiment at 9:55. So we got at least a little bit more news the next couple of days, which should keep the market a little volatile anyway, and look for some good short-term trading going on.
Should be interesting. I think I should get all my stuff done being moved this weekend. So.
Well, let's tentatively schedule then that October 29th is Stock Jock and Halloween in Atlanta. So
I'm totally good with that. I am absolutely. That would work perfect, actually.
Okay, so you can kind of be thinking of ideas of what in the heck? How might we broadcast Halloween? How would we do Halloween broadcast down there? I'll have to bring the monkey with me, too.
Yes.
He always goes when it goes to trading adventures.
You know what we should do?
Yeah?
Okay, so what was the date again? The 28th or the
29th. Wednesday,
29th.
Wednesday the 29th.
You know what I think we should do?
What?
I think we should carve a pumpkin live on the show.
You are good.
I think we should do a live stock jock and carve.
Well, maybe we should get a picture of DTR and see if we can carve one in his likeness.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, my pumpkin carving skill, I don't know how good it is.
Well, maybe
that would be awesome.
Maybe we need two pumpkins, a DTRS and an RPM pumpkin.
You know, we could do that. We wouldn't have to do necessarily a likeness. Maybe we just get a, DTRS in the pumpkin and an RPM in another pumpkin. And then we got to get, if we're going to do that, though, we've got to get a third pumpkin, and there's got to be an SJ and R in there.
Okay. We'll make
pumpkins.
We'll make it the smaller pumpkin.
I'll find, I can find some pumpkins around here. See, that would be greatness. We'll do, I can get the setup that's a month away from here. I get the setup picked up a little bit, even more. It's all right now, but I get it picked up. That's what we're going to do. For anybody out there listening, we're going to have a live pumpkin carving.
DTR, RPM pumpkin carving.
We're going to have a live pumpkin carving.
We may have to do a room raid that night, too, in the honor of them. Johnny was supposed to do a room raid on Monday, but he ended up, he's doing the new cocktails and candlesticks on Monday night, which is pretty fun to watch. The last few Monday nights, he had some guests, and doing some video. But this last Monday, he was just concentrating on the markets and looking at some stocks. Especially since we got hit hard on Monday, he was keeping it rather low key and professional. But hey, we don't have to keep it professional. We can do live pumpkin carving. I like
That's
it.
right. We're gonna do. I'll find some pumpkin ale down here. We'll get us a pumpkin beer. I'll get some pumpkins. We'll carve them up. We're gonna do it. Stock Jock and Roll Halloween show.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
October 28th.
I think it's a great idea.
Everybody out there, get ready to tune in.
But of course, we will still be back next Wednesday night with
Absolutely.
some
We'll be
kind
back.
of broadcast of some sorts. Maybe maybe next week we should do a little back testing example. I think we're due to do a back testing example. Maybe.
Well, I think the outside consulting stuff that I've been working on will hopefully die down a little bit, and I can get I always watch the markets, obviously, do the trading stuff, but sometimes the consulting stuff pops up too, and so by next week I'm hoping that's going to kind of die down a little bit, and we'll definitely be even more on point, or at least I will be. Not that you haven't been. You're always on point with this stuff. But we'll be good to go next week. When will that be? That'll be September 30th.
Yes,
right.
That sounds right. September 30th, and maybe see if we can dig up another interview with somebody.
Right. Exactly.
For the show.
We can find somebody.
Yeah.
We'll get somebody to get out there with us.
I got a buddy who wrote a book, trading book. I might be able to get him on and talk about his book or whatever, and see what it's like to write a book. Because I don't know how many of us, as you've been trading, you're like, man, I need to write a book about what I've done, and
right.
And then you think about what it really takes to write a book, and I go, I don't have time for that. So
that's how I am too.
I kind of like, you got all your journals and stuff and trades and stuff along the way, but to consolidate that and write a book, man, just makes my head explode.
You know what I said the other day? I wish that I would have had a GoPro headset that I could have worn for the last 15 years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'd have like an encyclopedic volume worth of books to write. I mean, I could have had like 15 books between all the stuff I did years ago with the airlines, and then just the trading stuff and all this stuff. It would have been greatness. But
yeah, speaking of GoPro, they had a sweet breakout on Monday while the stocks were getting hammered. They were sneaking GoPro as a breakout, and even today, GoPro is up 7.66%.
Now, see how that works? This is why we work, Charlie. We get charts and stocks out of nowhere. General conversation.
Yeah, but I had been tracking GoPro here, and I had a nice breakout on this last week. So, all right, well, hey, our time is up. It's good to see you,
I
man.
think we've wasted enough of Day Trading Radio's bandwidth at this point in time.
I think so.
I would like to personally say thank you to everybody who's hung out at any point in time tonight, and anybody who has actually stuck with us through the end of the show. We will be back next week, Wednesday, September 30th. Thanks to my partner, Charlie. Always great, and I can't believe we've been doing this for over a year now.
Yeah, tonight was our 51st show.
Right.
And Playa09 in the room says backtesting sounds great, so let's count on it. Let's do some backtesting with an 8 and 21 EMA and I'll pick out some time frame and some index, maybe the Qs or the spiders. I don't know, but we'll do some kind of back testing example tomorrow night. Next
absolutely.
week, it's the popular 8 and 21 day that a lot of people talk about. Let's see if we can find an edge with the 8 and 21 day in a matter of 30 minutes while we try some back testing here live.
Right, and I'll do some laundry while we're doing the show. I'll get my tablet out and we can do some live. No, maybe we won't do that.
Yeah. Hey, famous designer. Thanks. Hoover. Thanks for coming out tonight. The Vok. Dan Aruba. I don't think we've spoken with Dan Aruba before. Good to see you.
You guys are great. I'm going
MH.
to throw this out too. Any of you guys that, Rev 10's out there. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you guys ever want to jump on the air with us? Shoot Charlie or I a note.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It doesn't even matter. You don't have to do it ahead of time.
Yeah.
When we start the show up, shoot us a private message.
Yeah. Just hit us up in the chat room. We can bring you on.
Yeah,
chat.
just say, hey, I feel like being goofy.
Anytime during the week, let me know. I'm always in the chat room somewhere. You will find me pretty much always in the all things bond rooms. That's where I hang out. All things bonds, because that's the main instrument I trade. But yep, let us know. And Racer X in the room tonight. Sonny was out there early. Cephas. Thanks to everybody who's out there. And
Sonny was out there.
Yeah.
Always good time. And even though I think RPM took his NyQuil, went to bed, to him and Johnny and
yeah.
Bright Guy and Ephraim and everybody at Day Trading Radio.
Ananta, I don't know who Ananta is. That's the first I've seen you. Hello. They asked, they were talking about Robinhood. What about phone security if you're trading on your phone? Again, I'm not worried about it. I deposit checks on my stupid phone into my bank account and transact with my bank every day. So,
that's actually a good question though, because that's something that I've wondered about too. I don't do really any of that on my phone yet. I would like to, but not because I just usually do it on my computer at home, right, where I've got antivirus and firewall and all that stuff. So I've never really messed with it on the phone because I've never really used it. Or I have, like at work, I have direct deposit. Whenever I have to do that kind of stuff for work-related purposes, for the consulting stuff and all that stuff, that's all direct deposited.
Yeah, it is a fair question. I have no doubt about it because people, smartphones have only been around for 5 years now, and we're using them more and more. So it's a fair question. It is a hurdle I've been able to overcome in using it because I can tell you for one thing, all my electronic stuff that I've done online or on my app, I have never once been hacked. However, I have been hacked before by simply going and giving my credit card to a waiter.
On your phone? Like on your phone?
No. Just going out to dinner. You are more susceptible of being hacked by your waiter or waitress taking your credit card and getting your number, getting your 3-digit ID, and going on a joyride for about 4 hours because I've been hacked that way. And somebody
I think we had a friend, a mutual friend that happened to.
Oh, it happened to me too.
Right.
Yeah, it was like about $500. They went to Costco and got tires. They went and got something to eat. They got gas. They did a joyride until the credit card company figured out something's a little off.
Right.
On this because they got some algorithm that is looking for the security stuff. But
you know what? And I do appreciate that. I appreciate that because I'm sorry because I interrupted you again rudely. Just real quick though, whenever I came to Atlanta, I had the same thing happen. My credit card got shut off Because why? Because there was an uncommon pattern of purchases on the debit card.
Yeah, man.
Right.
That makes sense. It makes sense. So,
Right. Right.
anything we do, there's a risk or a scare.
Right.
But when I go for my exercise just about every day at about 10:30 at the lunch hour, I could die walking around the street, but I don't let it stop me. So,
right, exactly.
Can it happen? Absolutely, can happen. With the whole Target mess and the Home Depot mess that's gone on, it's interesting that they've had all these hackings, but there's not been one person yet that actually had an issue. Like, no money has been lost anywhere.
Right.
It is an issue, but
like I say, you know what? Guess what? It's not fun. It's not good. But you know what? It's dangerous to be alive. But right. You know what? I'm still happy to be there.
Absolutely. Every day above ground is better than any day below ground.
Right, exactly.
So
even if it's because you're working down there and not sleeping down there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. We'll wrap this up.
Charlie, it's been great.
You have a
be back, folks. We'll be back again next week, September 30th, Wednesday. We are going to do the Stock Jock and Halloween on October 28th. I have no idea. We'll pull something out of the hat. And even if something happens and Charlie doesn't make it to Atlanta, we're still going to do it. So
that's right. Either way, there will be a Halloween show. But I'll
one way or the other. Yeah.
I'll try to get to Atlanta, man.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Take care. I'll talk to you as we get toward the weekend and our football fantasy begins to take off. And I didn't see Chili G in the room tonight, but I'm tied with him in the league 2-1. So
I'm 2-1 also.
All
Darren,
right.
Where's Darren at? He's 3-0.
Yeah, he's undefeated. So
all right, I'm taking him out.
All right, you do it, man.
I'm figuring something out.
Talk to you later.
Charlie, great show, buddy.
All right.
Thanks again. Thanks to everybody out there. When you guys tune in, we really do appreciate it. And thanks to Day Trading Radio and all the guys there for letting us hop on here and be two clowns on computers.
All right. Good night, all.
All right. We'll see you.
What the heck was that?
Nice work, people. Well done. Very solid work.
Another day, another opportunity to impress everyone.
Well, guys, I think we've all learned a valuable lesson here today.
And another adventure draws to a close.
When I say good, you say bye. Good?
Welcome home. You're listening to the best non-professional advice show on the planet. On your home for overnight low-back session. This is the Stock, Jock, and Roll Show on DayTradingRadio.com.